Okay, well, thank you for having me, Jessica and Team Now Marketing here at Social Media Week Lima. I have a couple improv things that I need to start with. So you may have noticed I have a new fashion accessory that I did not have earlier this week, and no big deal. I was at the after party, or the VIP party. I was on that shark, and no, that's not how this happened, really. I was on vacation for the last 2 weeks, and my first day back at the gym was Monday, and I usually walk every morning. Walking is one of my morning routine things, clear my head, keep myself in shape, and I decided to run on Monday, and I developed something called turf toe. I don't know if anybody's familiar with turf toe. If you are, raise your hand. Okay, some people are, so I'm not completely crazy. I've had this before. They call it turf toe because a lot of times it affects athletes that run on turf. And so basically I strained the ligaments in my big toe on my left foot. And I thought it would kind of improve or I could deal with it, but yesterday I was in a lot of pain. So I stole the boot from my 18-year-old's closet and decided to wear this, and it's much better. It feels great. I could actually go running again. Not really. I won't do that. I'm done. I'm done running. I've decided that walking is the way that I will go. So that's why I have the boot on. Now, let me see if I can advance one slide. I don't know if that was me or if that was Now Marketing. It was that guy right there. Okay. Terrence asked how many people are using, he said how many people are still using email marketing like it's a fax machine. Email marketing is not old. You should still be using email marketing. I imagine that's why you're still here and you haven't left yet. So how many people here are in sales? Shouldn't everybody be raising their hands? I mean, don't you sell something, whether it's a service or a product or whatever? So we'll say, okay, everybody's in sales. Okay, that's good for me to know because I'm in retail. I've been in retail for many, many years. So you're going to get kind of my retail perspective, but it's definitely applicable to all of you if you're trying to promote or sell something. It can be a service, can be a product, can be yourself. But before we get to that, the first block on here is kind of my story, and I realized after Ashley's presentation this morning, as she kind of gave the story of 50 Strong, I have a slide in here that just has bullet points. But I also have a video that was made 5 years ago that I can show you. So I'm going to show you this video from 5 years ago, and that'll tell you a little bit of my story.
My name is Marc Bowker, and I'm the owner of Alter Ego Comics. In 2003, I started the business out of my home with $800 and a dream. After working a full-time job during the day, I would come home in the evening and process orders from the website while helping my family pack boxes to ship out to customers. It didn't take long for us to realize that the business had outgrown our home and we needed to move into a retail store. In 2009, we outgrew our original retail space and needed to expand. So I decided to invest in my business and downtown Lima by purchasing the building at 230 North Main Street. People love shopping at Alter Ego Comics because the store is clean, well lit, family friendly, and smells nice. Alter Ego Comics started as an online-only business 10 years ago, with the retail store opening later. A large portion of our sales is generated through our website, and we still ship orders all over the world every day. We pride ourselves in our customer service, so unlike some other online stores, when you call Alter Ego Comics, you get to talk to a real live human being. I believe in giving back to the community. These are some of the organizations that Alter Ego Comics has supported over the years. The cornerstone of our community outreach is Free Comic Book Day, an annual pop culture celebration. In 2012, we gave away nearly 4,000 comic books to 800 visitors, and everyone left with a smile. 10 years ago, I had a dream. And now, thanks to our amazing customers and the support from the people in the community here in Lima, I'm living that dream. Captain of my own enterprise.
Thank you very much. Now, the one thing I notice about that is that I have so much more gray and white in my beard than I did 5 years ago. That's what being a small business owner does to you, ladies and gentlemen. Makes you age. All right, so let's move forward here. We've been talking about social media. We've been talking about different platforms, trying to get in front of consumers, trying to attract people, to engage them, and all this stuff, when really the most powerful tool in your marketing toolbox is your email list. Those are people who have already given you their permission to contact them. You have direct access to their inbox. You don't have to worry about all kinds of crazy things changing in social media, like algorithms changing. People freak out whenever Facebook changes their algorithm because people are only getting 2% reach now, or they're only organically hitting a very small percentage of the people that follow them on social media. And as has been mentioned already, with our political climate, with the state of the world, more and more people are taking vacations from social media, but they're still checking their email. Okay, so a couple statistics. For every dollar you spend on email marketing, you can expect an average return of $38. Now, who's giving me that statistic? An email marketing company, Constant Contact. So let's take them at their word and not think that they're making this up. People are twice as likely to sign up for your email list as they are to interact with you on Facebook. So why wouldn't you be actively trying to grow your email list? That should be the number one thing that all of us are trying to do right now to attract new business, is to grow your email list. 72% of consumers prefer email as their source of business communication. And if you're in a business-to-business business, those audiences rank email as the third most influential source of information behind only colleague recommendations and industry-specific thought leaders. 61%, this is a good one, 61% of your customers enjoy receiving promotional emails weekly. Sorry, those might be my customers. I don't know about your customers, whether they enjoy your emails or not. And here's the kicker. 38% of those people want even more email. Now, if you're like me, you don't want to bombard your customers with email, and you think maybe even sending 2 emails a week might be too many, but you might be wrong. And the only way to find out is to start testing and experimenting. So I have a feeling you probably can't see this very well, but traditionally I would send out a weekly newsletter, usually on Sundays at 6 p.m., and more recently, I've started experimenting with sending more frequent emails. So I sent 5 emails over 8 days. And you can see that, you probably can't exactly see this. Some of them went to the same people, but some of them went to a different audience as well. And that's where segmentation comes into play. We're going to get to segmentation a little later on. So 5 emails over 8 days. Let's go to the next slide. So the average open rate of those 5 emails was 59%. The e-commerce average is just about 17%. The average click rate on those emails was 12%, where the e-commerce average is 2.3%. And it generated over $10,000 in sales. And let's go back one more. The 3 tools, or the resources for that data, and the tools I used were Klaviyo, MailChimp, and Infusionsoft. I take that back. Klaviyo is the only tool I used. The stats came from the other 2 places. Let's go to the next one. So how do you build and grow your email list? Okay, so who has an e-commerce website? Like 6 of you. That's very disheartening. So the e-commerce site that I use is called BigCommerce. It's a shopping cart program. Similar things would be Shopify or WooCommerce, things like that. I use a service called Just Uno, which is a pop-up service. Now, it used to be pop-ups. Everybody hated pop-ups. You would go to a site and you'd be bombarded with all of these pop-up windows, most of them not applying to what you were there for anyway. But that has definitely changed. And I think you'll see, even if you go to some of our speaker websites, they're going to have a pop-up at some point, whether you're exiting the site, whether you just landed on the site, where they're going to prompt you for your email address in exchange for a piece of content that they will send you. And I mentioned earlier Klaviyo. That's the email marketing program that I use. Is anybody familiar with Klaviyo? Nobody. Awesome. Similar services would be Aweber or other, they're kind of higher end I don't want to say higher end, they're next level. So if you're using MailChimp, if you're using Constant Contact, if you're using either the free version or a very low-cost version, Klaviyo and Aweber and Infusionsoft, those would all be kind of the next step up. And you'll see there, my total monthly spend for those 3 pieces of software is $320. So it's not huge, but the power that Klaviyo gives me is essential to communicating effectively with my customers. Next. Okay, so one way to build your email list is through using something called a lead magnet. And you've probably participated in these before, you've probably seen these before. If you go to my site, there used to be a pop-up, I've since changed it to an exit pop-up, but where there's a contest where we're giving away a copy of a book. In exchange for their entry to win that book, we're asking for their email address. That email address automatically goes into, it's connected to Klaviyo, goes into my newsletter file, and we'll find out what happens next a little later on. So you could do a giveaway, you can offer a discount, you can offer freebies, an ebook, white paper, a video series, lots of different things, and it's usually a low cost to you. If you think about what customer acquisition costs your business, and in my business, the average cost to acquire a customer is about $10. Offering something right up front where you know that you're going to be able to gather an email address is kind of a no-brainer, especially if it's something that costs you less than $10. Let's go to the next one. That pop-up there is, I use Just Uno to do that pop-up. So you can put these email signups on your website. Most of you probably have an email signup on your website. It might be in the top menu bar. It might be in the lower right corner. It probably doesn't scream at someone when they get there, give me your email address, so they may overlook it. They may never get to it. But you definitely still want to be able to accept those email signups on your website. You can also, if you're using any of those email ESPs, MailChimp, Constant Contact, Klaviyo, you can create a form in those programs that you can drop into your social media accounts. So you can put an email sign up on your Facebook page or direct people through a Twitter link to sign up for your email. And do it the old-fashioned way. Have a sign-up sheet if you're doing a trade show, if you're sponsoring something, have a sign-up sheet and just have someone enter that information into your email service provider when you get back to the office. Now, in my opinion, there are 3 emails that every business should be sending, and we're going to dive into those. Number 1 is an email welcome sequence. And a fun statistic here, welcome emails drive 320% more revenue on a per email basis than other promotional emails. This is where that email address goes when someone signs up for that giveaway on my homepage. Their email address goes into my newsletter segment in Klaviyo, and as soon as that gets added to that list, my welcome sequence starts. So email 1 goes out. And this is what a typical welcome sequence might look like. You may have been part of this before when you sign up on different websites, but this is what I would recommend regardless of whether you're selling a physical product or if you're a service provider or whatever. So day 0, the day that they sign up, I guess technically it's day 1, but we're going to call it day 0 because it says so on the slide, is the email that welcomes people to your brand. 2 days later, you're going to send them another email, and you may introduce them to the top categories or the top services that you provide. You're not selling anything at this point. You're just familiarizing people with your company, with what you offer. 2 days after that, introduce them to your social channels and invite them to follow you. 2 days after that, you can send another introduction to maybe what your top products are. Or, you can pick and choose whatever you want to put into these emails, but the whole purpose of this is to get this new person who has voluntarily given you their email address to become familiar with who you are as a company. And as we've heard over the last 2 days, it's all about the human experience. So this is a great opportunity to show the human side of your business. Now, if you are offering something and you're wanting people to take out their credit card at some point, you can add what's kind of an optional feature here, and that would be the discount ladder. So 2 days after you introduce them to your top products, you send your first discount offer, which could be 10% off, which could be a low dollar amount, a $10 ebook, something like that, just to get them to give you a shot. And basically, you can take that out as far as you want. I've seen people stretch that out over the course of a year, which I think is a little excessive. When I do it, I do 3. I do a kind of a 10% off, a 15% off, and then a 20% off. At any time during that sequence, if a customer buys something, they drop out of that sequence. So they don't get a 10% make a purchase and then get the 15% 2 days later. So you can play around with that however you want to play around with. You don't even have to offer a discount later if you don't want to. But at the very least, welcome that customer to your business and give them a good idea of who you are and what you stand for. Next. Okay, this is a 30-day snapshot of the first email in my welcome sequence. And you saw on that slide a couple slides ago that people are 320% more likely to make a purchase through that. The open rate on that first welcome email is 52%, which is pretty good, right? The click-through rate is 15%, which again is higher than average. I had a small percentage place an order, 2.7%, and it generated about $500 in revenue. Next. Secrets of a good welcome email, everything that we've talked about the last 2 days. I kind of love, again, that this is the last one, because it's taking everything that they must have strategically done this. Here I thought I was bumped for some reason. But taking everything that we've learned over the last 2 days, make it personal. And is Brian with a Y still here? He's not here at this moment. I swear I thought he was going to steal my thunder yesterday when he started talking about his email and asking a question and doing that sort of thing. I'm glad he didn't. So the 2 rules of thumb that I live by, make it personal and ask a question. So let's go to the next slide and you'll see my welcome email. There's no way that you're going to be able to read that, but I will summarize it. I introduce myself to the new subscriber. I thank them for signing up for my list. I know your inbox can get crowded, and I appreciate you letting my emails through. I let them know that I write every single email, which I do. Some of them are automated, and they may they're going to get into a sequence like this, but I still write every single email, and I let them know that. And I say I want to get to know you. Would you take just a minute to help me get to know you by answering 2 quick questions? Who's your favorite comic book character, and what do you collect? And then I tell them about me. I tell them that my favorite comic character is Wolverine, and that I've actually had a Wolverine tattoo since 1992. Getting personal there, maybe too personal, I don't know. I don't tell them where it is, but I tell them that I have it. And I tell them what I collect. Star Trek, the original series stuff, and Indiana Jones. Raiders of the Lost Ark is my favorite movie. And I say, now it's your turn. Thanks for reading, just hit reply. That email gives me replies every single week. And I'm happy to respond to those. And I can't tell you how many people have actually said, this is so cool, I usually don't get emails like this. And they're thrilled that someone is actually asking them in that first contact email, tell me something about you. So you can make a great first impression with this. There is a little bit of an ulterior motive to this, in that by asking them to reply to this, your email service providers are going to look at this as a conversation and not as a marketing piece. So when they reply, Google's going to put it in the main tab, not in the marketing tab. Hopefully you're going to be kept out of the spam box and of the marketing box by creating this conversation with a customer, so that when you send future emails, they're not going to get missed. So there are 2 reasons for this. Number 1, because it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to be personal and interact with your customers. Number 2, it helps you from the tech side to get into their primary inbox. Next, please. The second email or email series that everybody should be sending, and again, this one's you're going to have to kind of imagine using this within your businesses. I'm looking at it from a retail perspective. Abandoned cart emails. How many people have gotten an abandoned cart email? Lots of people. So a lot of you just window shop and throw things in your cart at Amazon, and then they send you something. Oddly enough, I don't know if Amazon sends abandoned cart emails now that I'm thinking about it. They don't. What's wrong with them? Well, that's fine. They don't need to do it. So if you abandon a cart, you're on a website, you're on Best Buy's site, you're looking for a new TV, you're looking for whatever, you throw it in your cart, you see the shipping cost, and then you're like, no way, I'm not doing that, and you back out. And then maybe you get an email from Best Buy, 24 hours later, reminding you that the stuff is still there. So over 69% of online shopping carts are abandoned before the customer completes the sale. People abandon for all kinds of reasons. Shipping, taxes, extra fees that were too high. That's definitely the number one. Some people didn't want to create an account. I hate that, actually, when I'm shopping and they force you to create an account. I just want to check out anonymously. I don't want to have to set up a new password, a new username. So if you are doing an e-commerce website, you might want to offer that option. Yes, we want to get as much data as we can as e-commerce people, but you also don't want to annoy people. Or the checkout process was too long or complicated. You ever check out this is an upsell, but if you buy anything from Vistaprint or whatever, you buy some business cards and they want to sell you like car magnets and vases and whatever else, notebooks. I just want some business cards, man. I don't want the rest of the stuff. So most abandoned cart sequences, the recommendation, this could be, you could look at it this way. If you're, are the HVAC people still here? No. Yes, sorry, right here. I can't see. If I fall off the stage. So you could have, let's say someone goes to your website and they go to the air conditioning page. If you're using a service like Klaviyo, you can see that data. You can see the people that go to furnaces, that go to AC, that go to plumbing, that go to whatever, and then you can follow up with those people based on their interests. I'm jumping ahead a little bit to segmentation, but that's the same way with here. I'm trying to make this as applicable as I can to as many people in the room, because you're not all selling things online. So if you don't have a shopping cart, you can still do things, you can still set up a sequence that would follow up with visitors to your website based on different conditions. So the ideal abandoned shopping cart sequence, the first one's going to go 1 hour after the cart is abandoned, just as a reminder. And if you can, if at all possible, you want to include in an image of whatever they had in their cart and a link back to their cart. So the image is very important. You don't just want to send a text email, and you definitely want to have a link back to their cart so they can recover it quickly and not have to go back, find the product, add to their cart again, and then check out. You want to make it as quick and painless as possible, and most of the e-commerce shopping carts today have that functionality built in. The next email you're going to send is 24 hours later, and you can include an offer with that if you want to. It can be at 10% off, whatever you want to do. I actually don't include an offer on that second email. I say, your cart is about to expire. I can't hold this any longer. Sounds like a bladder issue, but... and so that hopefully gets people to come back and buy stuff. If you want to add a third email, 2 days after that, remind folks that your offers should always have expiration dates or expiration times. So you don't want to send a 10% off coupon with no expiration date. It wants to, and especially if you're talking about a cart, 10% off if you purchase within 48 hours, something like that. So you're going to send another email, your offer's about to expire, here's a reminder, here's a picture, here's a link, yada, yada, yada. Next. Okay, so again, just to show you what my results have been, my first abandoned cart email has an open rate of 67%. That's pretty high. That's pretty worthwhile. It's worth sending that first abandoned cart email. It's got a 12% click rate, 14% have placed an order, generate over $3,000 in sales. Again, this is a 30-day snapshot. So if you're not sending some sort of abandoned cart or abandoned site email, you're leaving money on the table. Next. Okay, same tips for an awesome abandoned cart email that apply to any other interaction that you have with a consumer. Be personal. Sign your abandoned cart emails with your name, not just the name of the business. Use a friendly tone. Use their name. Most email service providers are going to allow you to put that drop in that Brian was talking about yesterday that says F name in parentheses or in quotes or however they do it, so that the subject line of the email can say, hey Jay, did you forget something? And so are you more likely to open something like that or just something without your name? Most people are going to open it if their name is in it. You want to make sure it's relevant. As I said, you want to link to the cart, include pictures of the items, and support info. I don't remember if as we go forward here, whether I include a sample one that we do, but mine is basically, I saw that you were moments away from purchasing X. Did something go wrong? If you have questions, let me know. I'm here to help. And I've had people reply to that email and say, the shipping cost did seem high. I wasn't sure when I was going to get charged. It's opening an opportunity for a conversation that you can have with that customer that hopefully turns into a sale. And you want to make sure it's mobile responsive. I think by now we all realize that everything we're doing should be mobile responsive. If you're not, you're going to make people have to resize things on their phone or their tablets, so you definitely want to make sure that your emails are mobile responsive. Next. The third type of email sequence that you want to use is something called a Winback campaign. This could also be a lapsed customer campaign, something along those lines. 75% of your email subscribers are inactive. I mean, I can tell you for a fact those numbers are pretty close to what my email list looks like. So why are you paying your email service provider for a bunch of emails on your list where people aren't opening your emails or acting on those emails when you send them? They're inactive because of deceptive subject lines. It's kind of like fake news. You know, how many times have you gotten an email with a subject line that promises one thing and has nothing to do with the subject when you open it? So you want to be upfront and truthful with your customers, but also add a little pizzazz to it. They might not be optimized for mobile. It might be irrelevant content. Maybe they've had a change of circumstances. Maybe my customers, I've had them call me with illness, divorce, death. They haven't called me with death, but we found out that they passed away. That'd be weird if they called me afterwards. And the upside is that you can gain up to 45% of these customers back just by sending a targeted email campaign that fits where they are in the customer lifecycle. Next. Which all comes down to segmentation. How many of you segment your emails right now? Only a handful. Segmentation is essential now. It's the best way to get the right information in front of the right customers. The best example I can give of this, and I hate that I'm using a big box store to do it, but let's say Kohl's, and I'm assuming because I don't read any Kohl's emails, I just delete them. But if you're a woman, I'm assuming you're getting a Kohl's email tailored to females and not to men, and vice versa. But if I were a man and I was getting all these Kohl's emails, it's like getting the circular in the Sunday paper or the thing sent to your house. Most of that stuff in there doesn't apply to you. So you're just going to pitch it. You're going to look at it real quick and throw it in the trash. So segmentation allows you to send the right emails to the right people. If you are a business that offers more than one product or service, you want to make sure that you're getting the customers the right information to get them to buy. Another tip that you can do in your Winback email is you can flat out ask what went wrong. I noticed that you haven't shopped with us in 6 months. Is it us? Is it you? What changed? If the tone of your business is kind of light, make it funny. Just inside joke in my head. I wasn't ready yet. Go back. Sorry. Whoa. The end. Thank you. Show them what they're missing. Highlight new products. Highlight new features. Maybe you're offering free shipping now. Maybe you're offering a free consultation. Maybe you're doing things that you weren't doing 6 months ago. Make sure that you get that in front of those people so that they know about it now, because if they haven't been opening your emails, they don't know about it. You can incentivize the decision with, again, a discount, with a freebie. Everybody likes that stuff. We've all probably been guilty of that at one time or another, getting an email or an offer in the mail or something where people are begging us to come back and we really don't care, but hey, it's a free coupon, so I'm going to use it. And then finally, know when to give up and get them off your email list so that you're not wasting your money by having an email list that has 10,000 names on it, but only 2,000 are opening your email. And you're not annoying those customers even more, even though they haven't unsubscribed for some reason. How many times have you gotten an email that you really don't care about and you don't click unsubscribe? Happens to me all the time. Like every day I'm like, I'll unsubscribe to the next one. I'll unsubscribe to the next one. Next. Okay, so a Winback sequence. For me, you have to think of what the nature of your business is like. For my business, if a customer has not been active on my website in 6 months, then they're gone. Or then I send this Winback sequence. So after 180 days of inactivity, the email number 1 goes out. No offer. Just a, hey, we miss you. We noticed you haven't been there. How can we help? Blah, blah, blah. Number 2, we send one 3 days later with an offer. 3 days after that, we do a reminder that the offer is about to expire. Again, at any time, if the customer purchases, they drop out of this sequence. And this is all set up through your ESP if you're using kind of a next level one. I don't know, and maybe someone can tell me at some point, if MailChimp and Constant Contact offer this functionality. At least, I'm sorry, did I hear a no? I heard a no. Terry said no. So if you're ready to go to that next level, and a lot of times I'm not shilling for Klaviyo or any of these other people. I don't get anything by talking about them up here, other than if I wasn't using that, I don't think my business would be as successful as it is. So there's a snapshot of the third email that I send out in my Winback campaign. Even though only 4.7% purchased on that, 65% of the people I send that to who were not opening my emails to begin with are now opening it. So it's an opportunity for me to get in front of them, and I just happen to I'm probably not saying the right thing at this point to get them to make a purchase, but they're still opening it. So there's your window. There's your window to get in front of someone who is technically a lapsed customer. Next. Okay, I'll throw in a couple bonus emails here. The new customer thank you email is magic. Look at that open rate. 91%. A 91% open rate just by sending a new customer a thank you email. This goes out one day after a customer places their first order with us. My email is a picture of myself and my team. I have a very small team. There are only 5 of us. It's a picture of us with our names. It says, thank you for becoming a customer. And 91% of the people open it. Also, 3.1% place another order after they get this email. And it's got a decent click-through rate at 9%. Next. Here's another one. A repeat customer thank you. We all have heard, if you're in e-commerce or if you follow retail or the life cycle of a customer, it's a lot harder to get that second purchase than it is to get the first purchase. So this goes out after they make a second purchase with us. One day after a customer places their second order, they get this email. 86% open rate. The subject line is, you just made our day. 5% click-through rate, 5% order rate. Again, so someone's placing a third order after they get this because we say thank you. In this one, I don't have a picture of it. It's got a little kid in a Batman tank top raising his hands up and cheering, and we're like, you like us, you really like us. Being personal, being funny, staying on brand with what you're about, but just thanking the customer. Next. One more. Okay. The point of email segmentation is to provide more relevant content to your email list. We've talked about this a little bit already. Next. And this will just give you an example. An email sent to your entire list, like a newsletter. Again, I still do a newsletter once a week, but I'm now sending multiple targeted emails on top of that. May get an open rate of 25 to 35%. And you'll see there's a newsletter I sent on May 8th, had a 39% open rate. An email based on segmentation can increase your open rates to 50 to 75%. This email, a last call email, was sent to a much smaller group. I don't know if you can read these numbers, but I'll read them to you anyway. So the top one went to about 1,400 recipients. The bottom one went to 22 recipients, but 73% of those 22 opened it. Again, it's not the size of your list. It's the engagement and the activity of the people on that list. You could have a list of 500 people or 100 people. And if all of those people are engaged with your company, you're in good shape. As you saw from Bella's presentation this morning, you can have 67 people or 63 people paying $150 a month, and you're making over 6 figures. So it's what you do with that information once you have it. So 73% open rate on a segmented list. I sent an email to people that had looked at the item that I was talking about. Next. You can segment by sign-up date, by their interest, by the activity on the website. And again, you probably can't see this very clearly. The graphic on there shows that the average spend rate in retail is about $28 on average to an average customer. But your VIPs, which are a different segment, spend up to $150. I have to get closer, man. I can't read this. Active longtime users spend $79. Reactivated customers, so those are your lapsed customers, spend $41. So you've got a lot of different breakdowns there. If you're looking at a segmented list, the average is 42 versus an average of 28. Next. Whoa, hey, look at that. So there is tremendous value in segmentation, and I would highly encourage anybody that has a website to look at using a next level email service provider so that you can get that data. and then you can act on it. Because just blasting out an email to everybody just doesn't cut it anymore. But I want you to remember that email is still the most powerful tool in your marketing toolbox. Those social media networks, God love them, I love them. We wouldn't be here if we didn't like them, if we didn't feel like they were necessary in our businesses. They could go away tomorrow. The government could shut down Facebook in a heartbeat because they are selling data to the Russians or anybody. So once you have that email list, you have to actively engage with them and hold on to it like gold.